Rutger Bregman, Sie haben dieses Buch geschrieben, im Grunde gut, eine neue Geschichte der Menschheit. Wenn Sie die Bilder sehen im Krieg der Ukraine, denken Sie dann immer noch, der Mensch ist im Grunde gut?
Well, look, sometimes it's hard not to doubt that thesis. But it's obviously a question I had to struggle with while I was writing this book. How could it be true that humans have evolved to be friendly and to work together if at the same time we are capable of such cruelty? And this is actually the double thesis of my book, is that we are on the one hand the friendliest species in the animal kingdom, but we're also the cruelest.
Seit Ihr Buch erschienen ist, müssen Sie sich dauernd irgendwo rechtfertigen für Ihre These. Könnte es nicht einfach sein, dass Sie falsch liegen?
Maybe, yes. But the reason I wanted to write this book is that we've seen an extraordinary shift in science, right? Many scientists, anthropologists, sociologists, psychologists have moved to a more hopeful view of human nature. One of the most exciting new theories from evolutionary anthropology is all about what they call the survival of the friendliest. If you ask the question, why have we as a species conquered the globe? Why not the bonobos? Why not the chimpanzees? Why not the Neanderthals? The answer that scientists now give us is it's our ability to cooperate.
Dennoch fokussieren wir, wenn wir zum Beispiel Zeitung lesen, immer auf die Bilder mit den schrecklichen Kriegswunden und sehen nicht so sehr die Wellen der Solidarität, gerade jetzt in diesem ganzen Krieg. Warum ist das so?
There is something called the negativity bias, right? What psychologists talk about is that we often focus on the things that go wrong. This is particularly the case in media. You rarely see a headline that says, today, 100,000 people were lifted out of extreme poverty. But that has been happening for the last 25 years, right? So what I think good journalism does, it helps us to zoom out and to look at the bigger picture. Now, the bigger picture isn't always good news. You know, think about how we're wrecking the planet, extinction of species, you name it. But there is also genuine good news. You know, decline of extreme poverty, decline of child mortality, you name it.
Es gibt viele, und Sie gehören dazu, die entsprechend dann sagen, hört uns auf, News zu konsumieren. Soll ich Sie da wirklich ernst nehmen? Sie als Intellektueller empfehlen uns, wir sollen keine Zeitung lesen?
Yes, absolutely. Read a book. It's much better.
Aber manchmal ist es doch wichtig, dass wir Bescheid wissen. Ich erinnere mich, gerade kürzlich bin ich mit dem Nachtzug nach Deutschland gefahren und in diesem Zug waren auch Flüchtlinge aus der Ukraine, die nach Deutschland fuhren. Und als ich ausgestiegen bin, hat eine Frau zu mir gesagt, wissen Sie, ich komme aus diesem Land, aus der Ukraine und da herrscht Krieg. Und ich habe gesagt, ich weiß es. Und das hat sie so gefreut. Ich habe gemerkt, es war ihr wichtig, dass wir Bescheid wissen.
I completely agree. I mean, we are living through historical times right now. The holiday from history is over, right? The famous intellectual Francis Fukuyama said, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that we had arrived at the end of history and that now, you know, we were all living in liberal democracies and the only thing that politicians would have to worry about was just economic growth or something like that. And that is clearly not the case. So this is not just newsy, this is genuine history we are living through. But there are also other things, right? I mean, there are other wars that have been going on for quite a while, whether it's in Yemen, for example, that aren't often in the news but are very important. There are other atrocities going on, such as the way we treat animals. Now, I'm not saying that means that therefore we shouldn't, you know, focus on the war in Ukraine. I'm focusing on it very, very much. But I am arguing that the news often sort of distracts you, right?
Etwas, was viele Leute im Moment auch tun, ist der sogenannte Hashtag-Aktivismus, also beispielsweise zu posten, Stand with Ukraine. Was halten Sie davon?
It's fine, but it's not enough, right? So raising awareness is not enough. If your ideals don't require sacrifices, then you got to ask yourself the question, how significant are they really? And so once you've raised the awareness, after that, you need to start building an organization, right? And you got to go to parliament and implement new legislation, etc., etc. So the hashtag is just the beginning, and we got to get much better at what comes after that.
Sie haben mal gesagt, wir bekommen von den anderen dasjenige, was wir von ihnen erwarten. Ist also Ihre Theorie eine Art self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yes. It's a little bit like The Secret, you know, the self-help book, is what you believe will come to pass. It's a little bit like the placebo effect, right? When you take a medicine and the doctor says this will cure you, while in reality it's just a sugar pill. Today it's often a nocebo, right? Which is the opposite of the placebo, where you think something's going to make you sick, and lo and behold, it does make you sick. We often assume the worst in others, and we bring out the worst in others, right? And my argument is that we can turn it around. If you assume that most people are fundamentally, deep down, pretty decent, then you can radically reorganize your whole society.
Sind Sie selbst im Grunde gut?
I hope so, at least. I guess pretty much all of us are. There are probably exceptions, like there's the character from the Batman movies, the Joker, right? He's probably not im Grunde gut. He's just a sadist. He enjoys violence for violence's sake. So those kind of people, they do exist, but they're very, very rare. Actually, most evil is committed by people who are im Grunde gut. And that is what's so shocking and disturbing, is that even though I am basically good, in some circumstances, or if certain things happen to me, I'm capable of very horrific things. And that's what you always got to be thinking about. What are those circumstances and how can we prevent them?
Vielen Dank.
Thank you.
Ja, was denkt ihr? Ist der Mensch im Grunde gut? Und wer Lust hat, das ganze Gespräch zu sehen, die Sternstunde Philosophie, sie ist hier verlinkt.